Hey, everybody, and welcome. Today, I have a beautiful woman with me, Jayaleigh, who's an amazing shamanic healer and teacher and yogi, a transformational teacher. And she has been generous enough to speak with us today so that you can really tap into her journey of ascension, both financially and also into her own power. So, welcome, Jayaleigh.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here and chat about this stuff, which is just magical.
It is magical because you're magical, and it's such an honor to. I was just saying today, I attract so many deeply talented women, and it's such an honor to see them rise up and shine and carry out their work into the world, which is what this is all about. I think people get so confused a little bit, or kind of maybe you're hearing me talk a lot about money, but unless we, the leaders, the healers, the mystics, the shamans, the visionary women, have capital, it makes it impossible to grow businesses. And I just wanted to share, and then I'll let you obviously share your journey, Jayaleigh. The Jayaleigh, since joining my Diva Mind a couple of months ago now, has made over, I think, about $30,000, and just last week did her first $20,000 cash week, which means that she was able to get people to pay her in full for her offers, and she was selling 5,000, I think, and 6,000 or even $7,000 programs. And I just really want to hear from you what that feels like, Jayaleigh. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. So, where do I begin? First of all, it feels amazing, like you would think it would, but it also there's some things that are just unexpected that you couldn't really anticipate feeling, like the sense of trust. That everything actually is not only going to be okay, but all of those dreams and possibilities that I had, maybe a few years ago, are still real. So everything's possible and more. So just opening up that possibility, giving me a real sense of freedom, that those things that I desire for myself and my family, and also getting my message out there and helping more people, that it's absolutely tangible. So I think before, when I'm hustling and working really hard to try to pay the bills, it kind of just, I didn't really see an end in sight, although I was always ambitious. So having learned what I learned from you and applied it and done the internal work to see those shifts and create those shifts, just the sense of possibility, of trust, of it kind of just feels like a big exhalation, but also really exciting as well.
I love it. And I know what that's like because I was selling $100 sessions and hustling so hard to do that. So, and it was like, if someone had said to me, "Oh, you're going to have a 20K week or whatever," I think I would have found that really hard to believe. And I see that a lot, especially people's partners. Like women come to me saying their partners don't believe it. What would you
Mhm.
say to that?
Yeah, that kind of came up. I in my marriage, I am married, and we've been together for a while. So he's been very supportive, and I'm in the shamanic, spiritual, yogic world. He's not really in that world, but he supports it and understands. So it's lovely that he's been with me every step of the way. When I first started, I was teaching yoga classes for $40 an hour, which kind of makes me giggle now because of what I know is possible. So to go through this together, because he's ascending as I ascend, and just the other week we were having a meeting with the bank about getting our first mortgage and going house hunting for the very first time, which is super exciting. And on paper, I made less in a year what I made last month. So we were talking to this bank guy about how much I'd made in 3 months, and how do we prove this to the mortgage people? How can we show that this is the trajectory and it's just going up from here? And so my husband and I are literally talking about that and high fiving each other in front of the bank manager because we're just so excited about what life looks like now, and what it's going to look like, which is vastly different from what it has looked like up to this point.
So let's share a little bit. That's amazing. The home, the house, and now it's possible. And you're like, okay, we can go from 20K a week or a month to 30, 40, 50 and go from there. And we teach that in High End Empire. But I want to share with people a little bit what your journey and emotionality and sort of some of the struggles that you might have had
Mm.
emotionally through the journey, and what it was like to be in the diva mind, in the high end empire diva mind, going through that journey of, kind of maybe fears and doubts to where you're at today.
It's interesting because I'm an entrepreneur and I did a whole bunch of different things, different kinds of sessions, and the teaching yoga. Um, and so I had been following other business people, and then I just kind of randomly, or not so randomly, because it's obviously divine intervention, came across your videos and your stuff, and I just stopped and listened. And I was really drawn to you because of how you spoke about the strategy, which is some things that I'd never even thought of before, let alone heard of. And then also this deep love and drive that you have for women rising, and the ability that you have too to tap into our essence and what we do and how to kind of package that up and get it out there. So it was a stretch for me to join your program, but it was also a no brainer. I just kind of knew, I don't know how, but I have to work with this woman and it's time and I need to dive in. So when I came in, I was really excited, but then you start to almost immediately, the first thing that has to happen is you have to clear your internal blocks and your inherited blocks. The ways that you realize you've grown up, like things that you've heard about making money or working hard. Some of the things for me that I realized I'd heard a lot were oh, they're filthy rich, and think good luck with that, or there's got to be a catch. All of those kinds of things that sort of limited the possibility. And when we have those beliefs and we don't even realize it, it really gets ingrained. So the first part of the process for me was going deep and doing the healing work of extracting all of that stuff. And and then when I started putting myself on video, I had to get over the discomfort of speaking powerfully about my work and what I do. So there was a little bit of hiding, right? Of not wanting to seem greedy or boastful, and getting over that kind of stuff quick because you teach. And I realized that um, the sale is really sacred. That's what actually gets the transformation for the person. So yeah, it was tricky to get on the video and really start to talk about it. And then the next step, when you start to get people interested and wanting to get on the sales calls, I have had to deal with a lot of doubt coming up. So we would have this wonderful chat with these beautiful people who wanted to work with me, and then my money stuff would start to come up, and I'd start to doubt and think, oh, they're never going to pay that much. Oh, I've never sold something for this amount of money before. Who is going to pay that? So I had to sort of move through that doubt. And I remember at one point I sort of put in the group, I'm having doubts. I don't even want to get on sales calls. I'm so nervous. Nobody's going to buy. And you got like really lovingly harsh with me in that one video you remember, which was amazing, which is exactly what I needed. I feel like I'd been coddled a little bit, in my family growing up, and then just the middle class lifestyle and with other teachers, and I really needed that kick in the rump that you gave me, and you gave it because you care so much. So that's when I decided, it was like, yeah, you know what, you invested in this. Ingrid has invested in you, in my success. So I need to get over my stuff and just do it. So for me, it was a process of acknowledging that that fear was there, and that it was sort of conditioned, clearing the conditioning and just doing it anyway. And it was a series of just doing it anyway, getting on the call anyway, speaking powerfully anyway. And I got to say, honestly, after just a few calls and doing that, the sales calls get really exciting. I'm just really happy to be able to connect with people um, on that level, and I get excited about it now.
I love it. Well, there's no stopping you
Yeah.
with that. That's awesome. So, can you tell
Mhm.
the people listening and watching what the sort of support is like in the group? What are the
Mm.
classes like? What is the coaching like? What is the level of service that we provide in the Diva Mind?
Oh, it's amazing. There's so much content that it can almost seem overwhelming until you realize that you can absolutely just go at your own pace, and that you and Chris and your teammates, Lisa, everybody is available for whenever we have questions. Um, but going back to that, it being overwhelming, at first it might seem like that because you spend so much time with us. So each class is, at least 2 hours long, often more. And so we really, really do our best to answer our questions, to meet us where we're at. And it's interesting too, because people will be coming in at different levels, and it's kind of amazing how you weave all that together. And it's always good for everybody to hear every part of it.
Mm.
So I feel like the support is just top notch. It's like no matter what kind of question we have or where we are at, I know that I'm going to be supported, and I know that my questions will be answered.
Okay, beautiful. And when you were going through any unraveling and ascension, because there's always, for you to be able to claim something like this, would you agree there's always an element of death, right? There's an element of
Yeah.
dying to the old you and reclaiming a new embodied frequency, a new you, a new
Mm.
vibration. So going through that journey of ascension that you went through, would you say, or how were you held in that when you were going through your own emotional up leveling?
Um, yeah, beautifully. So I think you did that video where you were like, "Stop it, woman! You're powerful. You're very supportive because you see us. You see, our power and our talent and what we're here to do so clearly." And then I'm pretty sure you probably checked in with me afterward and gave me some like really loving private messages just to check in and make sure I was okay. And not only was I okay, but it really, really cleared something in me. So absolutely, your heart is so huge. I can't actually even believe how you do everything that you do, but I can believe it because that's what you're teaching us to do, and how to hold space for people. And not only that, but as you said at the beginning, the women that you attract are just powerhouses, if I do say so myself, once we get
Yeah,
over our own
I
shins, right?
do. Yeah,
Yeah. So the
absolutely.
women in the group are there to support as well. It's just the level of support in the group from the other women is just like I've made sisters in there. So
I know,
it's
they're
just
amazing.
yeah, yeah, it's
And I
great.
always say to people that's not a fluke. It's very deliberate because in my early career, I always had amazing women, but sometimes it just wasn't as like heart. And when I made that conscious
Mm,
decision to really attract heartline women where there was just such a beautiful bond and the level of excellence, like in order with me, selling high end packages and then going into digital and building these empires, I'm really happy to teach that as long as the women who come to work with me and come to the party, so to speak, have a level of excellence in their craft, so
mm,
that we can honor our word and really deliver really potent transformational work, which is what you do. And so that's why that sisterhood is also so great because number one, it's very high vibration. The women come from real heart and they have a level of excellence and mastery that they've really already developed. And
mhm.
so they're there at this high octane, a high diva frequency, supporting each other, which is just so beautiful to witness. So I want to really thank you, Jayaleigh. I know that you're going to go on to even more ascension in terms of your work as you reach more and more people. What is the next stage for you?
Yeah, I mean, if I could just speak to the fact that I haven't even scraped the surface of the program and everything that you teach, I've just applied a few things and already my life is completely transformed. I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you,
So,
beauty.
thank you. And so the next step is is actually creating a group program. I've really just been doing the one-on-one and some video and some sales calls. So now it's about creating a bigger platform for more people at a lower tier to just bring in more people and assist them in their ascension, because I really think that's what it's all about on the planet right now. That's sort of the end goal. Everybody's awake and aligned. And so, yeah, the next level is group programs, group healings. And then from there, I'll be reaching out to you about my first webinar.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't
Yeah.
even wait actually to do that maybe first, and then to
Ooh.
segue into the group program.
Well, I'm open
Um,
to anything you suggest.
yes, we'll be strategizing, my love.
Okay.
Well, the beauty of what Jayaleigh is represented today is that, and she's like an ideal client of mine because she has a level of mastery and excellence. She has so much love. You can tell from her energy, the way she communicates, her essence, and her whole field is so beautiful and potent. And the reason why that we start with high end to begin with is to give these wonderful women and these entrepreneurs the cash flow that they need the confidence to really get it and really shift into a new energy to go, yeah, okay, I can have whenever I want to. And I want to sell a $5,000 or $10,000 package today. I actually have the energy and the skill, the mindset, the strategy, the systems. I understand selling. I understand how to package up my brilliance. I can package up a new 2-day weekend private retreat and sell it for $10,000, no problem, because you've mastered what we teach you in high-end empire. And then you use that to leverage and go into your group high-end programs and then your digital products. But starting high-end is great because you don't need a massive list. Like I always joke that I had a skinnier list than a supermodel when I first started, and I was able to fill a mastermind at a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 price point. At that point, it had 3 different tiers. And I think I only had 500 people on my list at that time. I did start running a few ads, and I sold 17 spots in 3 months. But before that, I'd already started selling just one-on-one. And it also gives you a chance to really more deeply understand what people need, your audience, develop even more content, and then you can leverage yourself because you have capital and you've actually ascended yourself and you're in a new energetic and financial vibration, and it makes doing the one-to-many a lot easier. Would you agree with that, Jayaleigh?
Yeah, Ingrid, I think it's genius. And I have to say, the selling high end, like a package for a few $1,000s coming from where I did, having never done that, there was an element of, oh my gosh, is that possible? I don't know if that's possible for me. And then you do it, and then you do it again. Like really, there
Oh my
really isn't
God.
magic. Like it just starts to happen because, as you say, you raise your vibration, and that in turn attracts more and better and
Yes.
so much. So I love that idea, which I hadn't really thought of or believed was possible before finding you, is that go straight into the high end, because like you said, then you feel really supported, and you can actually even invest in more support and invest in your business. And it's like, if I
Yeah.
can do this, then I can absolutely sell a group program at a lower tier. So it's actually, you sort of flipped it, and it works, and I love it.
Oh my God, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love hearing your journey. I get so excited when women are selling, not only because they're making more money, because I know it changes your family. It changes. You also have
Mhm.
Jayaleigh has a beautiful young child, a daughter. It changes. Do you think your relationship with even how you're going to bring her up and her own ability to be a leader and to be
Yeah.
responsible with, how she makes money and her own self, has it changed anything there for you?
Absolutely. So also being aware now with compassion and non-judgment of, my parents, my family's stuff around it and how I grew up. I don't want to bring that in. So I'm thrilled that I'm on this new trajectory with new beliefs, and just an openness. And she's very interested in going through my wallet. So we just bought her this toy
Yes.
wallet. And every
Yes.
time, I get paid or money comes in, I'm like, ooh, money, here, look at it. Yeah, it's great. Rather than thinking it's something like what I was taught, which is filthy to have it. You know what I mean? It's like, great, more, bring on more. So absolutely, absolutely, I'll be teaching her that it's a good thing.
Absolutely. I love it. And the other final thing I'll just say, which is so important that would you say that you're doing in some ways even a deeper level of work and serving and doing even deeper level of transformations through holding a sacred one-on-one container at this high level for your clients?
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. And when I'm speaking to them or to people about that, that is what it's all about. There's only so much that I can do in a single session. And what I was finding is it was sort of like ripping the band aid off. And I was getting a lot of messages after, this is coming up for me. How do I deal with this? So putting it together in a program where I was working with them for a few months at a time has been amazing. And also, these women that I'm working with, like we have a genuine love for each other because we're going so deep, and I'm holding such a sacred container while I go through this massive transformation. And I know, because I'm seeing it happen, that they're never going to be the same. So it's just such a deep honor. It's a confirmation for me. I'm even blown away sometimes after a session with a client. It's so wonderful that I almost can't believe that I waited so long and that I was doing the one-offs for so long.
Hello, I know. I've been there
Mhm.
with you, girlfriend. It's
Yeah.
like So really the message there is you're not just putting on a higher end price tag, you're actually delivering a 6-star stellar sublime transformational experience for a client. And
Mhm.
if you deliver on that, then the amount of money they're actually paying you, would you agree with this, Jayaleigh, is actually a fraction still of what it's worth. Like if you're saying that your students, your clients are leaving with such transformations, and also
Yeah,
mine, the amount of money that, say, if you paid me, right? Like the return, you've already made 3 or 4 times the amount of money that you paid me, and it's only just beginning,
yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
then the transformations that your students and clients are getting are just profound. And so even if you are charging whatever it is, five, six, $10,000, it's actually worth so much more when you have that level of transformation that you're providing.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And then also, from my perspective, so from a business perspective, it's like once you sell a few at that level, it becomes easier to sell higher, and you just keep rising and rising and rising. And also,
Yes.
I'm tweaking the programs too, like maybe adding some extra time with me. So everything just keeps rising. It's wonderful.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Mhm.
you're the CEO diva of your own business. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want,
Yeah,
as long as it's in integrity of self
yeah.
and others, which of course it is. And
Mhm.
it's beautiful to see you blossom and shine. And thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your heart, your truth with such openness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it took a couple months, but I'm here and I'm never going back. Up, up, up.
once once you get
So
this,
thank
no
you.
one once you get
Yeah,
into this new vortex, no one can take it from you, right?
no, yep. It's like that. That's the amazing thing. Everything that's happening externally is so wonderful, but this internal shift, it's like it's fun too. Like it's like
Yeah.
I'm having a really good time because it makes things lighter. It's not as heavy anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I spent most of up until my year 35, even being quite heavy, and everything was
Mhm.
quite, because I was living in that false paradigm, and I'd taken on the patriarchy, I'd taken on my family stuff. So
Right.
I know that you've gone through that as well. And now, yes, it is lighter because we are lighter. We're literally, as you would know, because of the work that you do, we're a lighter frequency. And then it does become fun, and it should be, because you know what? Life goes by pretty damn quickly. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm all for having a lot more playfulness and joy and making this a lot easier. And I think when you have that dense energy, it's usually caught up in the scarcity and struggle. And I was talking today that, unfortunately, if anyone's listening today, I just want to say that the majority, it's changing to a degree, but we need more light workers, more empowered visionary leaders and women to rise up and share their work, because we need to create global change, and money and capital and this sense of empowerment needs to rise up in women, so that we can help bring radical shifts in the planet, both for ourselves and for our communities, for our children, rather than waiting for the politicians, for the powers that be to create this change. It needs to come back to the hands of the divine femme. And so when you rise up, Jayaleigh, everyone else around you rises up. And so I want to thank you for your courage. I also want to thank you for um, trusting yourself enough to do this work. And thank you, thank you, thank you.